Evening, everyone. It's nice to be here in person for the first time in 1 year. I will call the February 25th, 2021 Peninsula School District Board of Directors regular business meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is over here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Board of Directors is very pleased that Pierce County has moved into Phase 2 of the COVID Health Washington Roadmap to Recovery Plan. Under this phase, Peninsula School District is allowed to resume holding school board meetings in person in compliance with certain safety requirements. Prior notice has been given to the community regarding how to watch this meeting in person and live on stream online. Instructions were also provided on how to provide public comment to the board. The meeting agenda has been reviewed, and we deem all items on the agenda to be routine and necessary. With regard to routine matters, board members have reviewed the agenda and have had such opportunity to clarify questions with the superintendent prior to the board meeting. Such matters are often processed without additional comment or debate. So we will now move to approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Okay, it's been moved by Natalie, second. Chuck, and seconded by Chuck. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is carried. The agenda is approved. We now move to the superintendent's report. Dr. Jarvis will now present his superintendent's report to the board. Dr. Jarvis.
I'm going to keep it brief, but at the same time acknowledge that we are meeting in Pioneer Elementary School. Yesterday we had the chance to do the ribbon cutting ceremony, which unfortunately could not be available to the entire community in person, so it was also live streamed. But during that meeting, we had a chance to say thank you to people who contributed to this beautiful school becoming a reality, and I'd like to repeat those thanks for the benefit of the whole community, if I may. And I'd like to start with the election itself. 2 years ago, in February of 2019, was a culmination of work by a whole slew of people that would more than fill this room, even if we didn't have a capacity, who went out to work to get the bond issue passed and did so. So I'm going to name Jennifer Butler as the chair of the SUP, Stand Up Peninsula, and after multiple failures and to take it on the way they did was just superb, and it really 2 years later leads us to be able to meet in this building and know that the children are already here. I would then move quickly to our crew, which is very small considering the amount of building that with Patrick Gillespie and Vicki Smith, and the two of them have shepherded these projects all the way through and done it with a very limited staff, but it's beautifully, beautifully done. So our own in-district project management. We also employed Green Gasaway, the firm, to manage our $200 million worth of projects that we had. And Mr. Jeff Green and his entire firm assisted us to get to this place and to do it on time and on budget and make it work for all of us. The design of the building itself came out of TCF Architecture and Mr. Brian Ho, who also happens to be a local architect, works for a Tacoma firm by the name of TCF, designed this beautiful building. You may recognize this particular part was part of the Boys and Girls Club that was here, and they had the task of figuring out how to take the Boys and Girls Club, build a new building with it, and then convert the old part to be very much a part of the new school. So our thanks to TCF for a marvelous job. Speaking of the Boys and Girls Club, I want to acknowledge Carrie Holden. Terry Holden is the executive director for the Boys and Girls Club, and she and I met to talk about this building and whether it could be conceivably purchased by the school district to become the initial part of the school. And so I thank Terry Holden, the entire board of directors for the Boys and Girls Club and the work that was done there. I would then move to the city of Gig Harbor, and sincerely, sometimes you run into an agency that has control of inspections and permits, and you say, I don't know if I can ever get this project done. Our relationship with the city of Gig Harbor was just the opposite. They did an absolutely magnificent job to assist us. They held us to all of the rules and all of the codes, and yet we made it here. And I would move then to Forma Construction. Forma Construction was the bidder, took on this project, took it on with a timeline that was unbelievable in many ways, and here we are. There are still machines moving dirt out there. There was a cement truck yesterday still pouring cement down the steps. It's not completed, but we have occupancy, and it was done beautifully. And then lastly, I would thank the district communication team for putting together all of the work during the construction so people could follow it. And then right up through yesterday, a beautiful effort for the ribbon cutting ceremony and what leads. So I saved for the last to hand it back to the board with a tremendous appreciation and thanks. This board undertook the construction of 4 elementary schools, approved the package, put it out to the voters, has carried it through. Literally every meeting that you have held, whether virtual or in person, has had an element to deal with capital projects, and it's been a part of your lives for these last 2 years. And here we are again. I finished with a note that I think I started with yesterday. This building was, that being Pioneer Elementary School, was supposed to go to bid as elementary school number 10 this spring of 2021. And instead, here we are sitting in the building and occupying it with the children. So that really is my superintendent's report of the first new building added to the system in 34 years. The movement to, when we talked to the voters, that 1/3 of our children were in portables, and now to replace the first 30 classrooms with what we have, and even have a meeting room like this that we can gather. This is one of our community rooms that we have built into the facility. So thank you, board, for giving me this opportunity to again say thank you to an entire community. What a beautiful effort. Thank you, Mr. Olsen.
Thank you, Dr. Jarvis. So we'll now move on to comments from our student representatives. I don't see Abigail here. Oh, there you are. Okay. You have a seat up here. If you want. Sorry about that. I didn't. It's the first time we've been in person, so right here, Abigail. So you just get here and you get to go first. So what's going on at Henderson Bay?
Well, we're doing a food drive, and I mean we're starting hybrid soon. That's pretty much it. We're trying to reach 200 of each item, and it's like refried beans, like tortillas and stuff. So that's going on until I don't remember. I have it written down. So March 15th is when we're starting hybrid, and March 4th is when we're ending the food drive.
Okay. Thank you very much, and welcome to the team.
Way to jump right
Welcome.
in.
In person.
Good job. You did great. Abigail, can you clarify, so the food drive, where do you take the food?
At the office that we're at.
You take it over to the
Yeah.
Henderson Bay facility over by the Purdy Elementary?
Yeah.
And we are to bring tortilla shells and refried beans?
Just
Okay,
like, yeah, that
thank
kind
you.
of-
And through March 4th?
Yeah.
So anyone can bring that by? Great, thank you.
Okay, so Connor?
All right, so as for Gig Harbor, kind of as my other student representative said, we are starting our hybrid learning beginning with our freshmen on March 11th with the cohort A and March 12th with cohort B. And for the parents who don't have all the information quite yet, there's a open parent information night on March 9th from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. online. You could probably, I believe it was in the newsletter. So if you need to check and figure out where it is, you can figure that one out through the newsletter. We're also excited to show 3 one-act plays that Gig Harbor has been trying to put together over the remote learning, by the names of Check Please, How to Overthrow Your Student Government, and Almost Maine. All of them will be available to stream for free on Broadway.com. So please go check those out and support the people who work really hard to get those done. And as for athletics, they are back out there finally, and it's really fun to watch it. And didn't really have the greatest result in fishbowl for our high school, but it was still really fun to be able to actually see it played when we really didn't know if it was actually going to happen this year. So, but with that being said, our football team has suffered a setback with a positive COVID test, so we are trying our best to do the contact tracking and making sure basically it stays contained and it's not going to run haywire across the school as it should, as we should be trying to do. And so all of our upcoming varsity and JV games will be canceled for the next 2 weeks in the foreseeable future, while our C team will be able to play because they were not in contact with them, so they will be able to keep carrying out their games. So as for our girls soccer, as you could probably hear, roughly around 100 yards from here, our JV soccer team is having a game, and then the varsity right after them. So they are both undefeated. With our volleyball team, they are all undefeated so far, and we'll hope that they keep that streak going, I guess. And as for our golf and cross-country teams, they have both had their first events, and our swim team has their first meet tonight up at the high school, so good luck to them, and that's roughly about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Probably should have let, go ahead, Jeff. Oh. So Tyson wasn't able to be here this evening, so Hope Flanagan is filling in. I probably should have let you go first since you have the best news to give, right?
Yes, that's right. Strong. Our fishbowl win. So last week was a great week to be a Seahawk. Congrats to all the seniors in their last game. That was a really great way to end their football with Gig Harbor, their rivalry. Leadership students spent a lot of time making posters throughout midwinter break to hang up in the student section so they could kind of feel like we were there supporting them even though we couldn't have spectators. And just lots of general excitement around coming back to school. Ninth graders, there's a lot of buzz. Leadership has begun planning ways to make the freshmen feel really welcome and excited to come back into person. Tonight's football game is our annual Coach to Cure game. So our honored Captain Micah Hester will be leading our team out on the field. Yesterday, Raina Nevada, she signed a letter of intent to swim at the United States Coast Guard Academy. So big congrats to her and all of her hard work. We had our first swim and dive meet tonight, hence my wet hair came straight over. This month was Share the Love Month. So at Peninsula, this has been an annual tradition to really work on our culture at Peninsula, and it looked a lot different, a lot of social media. We did compliment chains, so you got to post on your story and tag people that you wanted to give a sincere compliment to, and that was a really great way to interact with students even though we're still online. And same with our Love Our Community Week in school. That was this week, and we had students out in the harbor waving signs that says PHS loves Gig Harbor. And then same with Peninsula, our Interact Club is working with Gig Harbor and Henderson Bay to put on a food drive. That's this weekend. So Gig Harbor North, there's going to be a drop-off point, and the Key Peninsula Fire Department out past the light a little bit is going to have another drop-off place on Saturday. And ASB has started planning for a spring assembly to work on welcoming back everyone, remote learners and in-person learners. So yeah, we're just excited.
Thank you, Hope.
Thank you.
A lot of good things going on there. Okay, so next up we have comments from the community. Tonight we will take public comment. The board recognizes the value of public comment on issues related to district business. In order to permit fair and orderly expression of such comment, the board provides time for public comment during each regular monthly board business meeting. As a matter of practice, the board will not respond to comments or engage in dialogue at the meeting. Most issues require that the board review all available information before making a statement. The president may request the superintendent delegate the response to the appropriate PSD staff member. We appreciate your understanding and cooperation. Prior notice has been communicated to the public on how to register to speak. All commenters participating via telephone are on hold and will be allowed one at a time into the meeting to speak to the school board for up to 3 minutes each. In-person participants will follow. Board Policy 1430 states in part, the president may exercise discretion to interrupt or terminate an individual's statement when it is too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. So first up, Tanya. First up, we have Jennifer Keating. And is it, you're going to have to call her? She's
Yeah.
calling in.
I'll call her.
Okay.
She requested that Anna Bean be allowed to go first.
Oh, okay. So you'll call her first and then Jennifer.
Yeah.
Okay. So first up will be Anna Bean. Okay. She's on here twice, you know. So, okay, so we were not able to get in touch with Anna Bean, so we'll go to Jennifer Keating.
Jennifer speaking.
Hi, Jennifer. This is David Olsen, Peninsula School Board President. How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So you'll have 3 minutes, and Tanya, you can start the timer when she begins. So you're up, Jennifer.
All right. Hospital Hail, good day. My name is Jennifer Keating, and I'm an enrolled member of the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. I'm a graduate of Peninsula School District, where I attended Boyer Elementary, Kopachuk Middle School, and graduated from Gig Harbor High School. I now serve as the parent representative for the Peninsula School District Native Education Program, and most importantly, I now choose to raise my children in the Peninsula School District. I've recently had the great honor of working with some amazing parents, students, and community members on recognizing, honoring, and promoting tribal history in Gig Harbor and now in the Peninsula School District with the recommendation of Squabach, or Swiftwater Elementary for school number 9. I wanted to begin by thanking all the amazing folks who've written letters, sent emails, called, and recorded videos supporting the Squabach Swiftwater names. I would also like to personally thank the school board members that took the time to reach out and learn more about local tribal history before making their decision this evening. Your efforts to collaborate in a meaningful and respectful way with the Puyallup Tribe of Indians, you've done what many others have failed to do. You're recognizing tribal history in an accurate and culturally meaningful way, and for that, I raise my hands to you all. Squabach is the Twilshutzid word for the Swiftwater Band of the Puyallup Tribe, the original inhabitants of Gig Harbor, Washington. Long ago, Twilshutzid was the traditional language spoken prior to the arrival of settlers in Puget Sound, and to fully understand the significance of a tribal name, whether in English or in Twilshutzid, even being considered, I'd like to share a brief history. After the arrival of settlers, our ancestors were forced to leave their homes and make room for wave after wave of settlers and move on reservations. Their children were forcibly removed from their parents and placed in boarding schools where, under the federal assimilation policy, kill the Indian, save the man, our great-grandparents were beaten, locked in closets, and abused in many unthinkable ways to forbade them from speaking their language or practicing their culture in any way. But they were resilient. The language lives on, and thanks to efforts of our tribal language staff, is being taught and revitalized through efforts just like this. You are making history by even considering a tribal name tonight. But tonight, you're not only honoring tribal history, you're honoring the original inhabitants of Gig Harbor, You're teaching complete Washington State history. You're promoting equity and inclusion, and you're sending a message loud and clear to our many Native Peninsula School District students that they matter, that they are not invisible, and that their history is just as important as non-Native history. And for that, I thank you. Both Squabash and Swiftwater honor tribal history, and if Swiftwater ends up being the ultimate choice, we would love to explore possible ways to incorporate the Native language in other ways, other meaningful ways, such as a school header, logo, gym name, etc. I thank you for your time and for your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Do you want to try Anna one more time?
Yeah. So we'll try Anna Bean one more time.
So Buffy?
So what are we going to do now?
I'm going on to the next one,
Okay,
Buffy.
so we're going to go to, next up is Buffie Dia. If it's pronounced Via, I apologize, or Buffy.
Hello?
Hello, Buffy. It's David Olsen, School Board President. How are you this evening?
Good.
Good. So just want to remind you that you'll have 3 minutes. We do have a timer, and at the end of 3 minutes, we'll let you know. So we'll start the timer when you begin to speak.
Thank you. So my name is Buffie Dia, and I'm speaking tonight to share my support in naming of the new school, Swiftwater Elementary. I grew up on the Key Peninsula. I attended Vaughn Elementary, Key Peninsula Middle School, and graduated from Peninsula High School. I currently live in the Artondale area. My sons attend Kopachek Middle School and Gig Harbor High School. Growing up in this area as a multiracial woman of Hispanic, Native, and European descent, I have done my best to support the school district over the years in creating an inclusive learning environment. I've served on the School District Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee, supported the World Language Programs as a parent coordinator, and co-created and facilitated the first ever International Festival at Artondale Elementary. In my professional work, I've trained at local, state, and national levels, bringing awareness to cultural differences and collaborating with Native communities and supporting the Indian Child Welfare Act that works to protect Indian children. The root of understanding is awareness that there is a multitude of diversity in our town that should be represented. Cultural diversity among communities and organizations leads to better results in the health and well-being of all children. Some might think that this is just the name of a school, but for those who represent identities outside of dominant culture, the naming of this school and honoring the students' history and contributions of the indigenous people of this area is a gesture of appreciation and acceptance that will lead to learning, growth, and inclusion, and countless more opportunities that are yet to be discovered. So I just want to thank you for the opportunity to speak, to the naming committee for choosing this as one of the options for the Native American Education Program at the school district, and for the community members who are supporting this effort, and gratitude to the Puyallup Tribe for supporting this opportunity that will mean so much more to many. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, next up we have Cassius Villa.
Fudge technology.
Hello?
Hello, Cassius. It's David Olsen, School Board President. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good.
Good. So you're going to get 3 minutes to address the board, and we do have a timer. And so if you go past 3 minutes, we will let you know that your time is done, and we will start when you begin your comments.
Thank you. I'm here today. I'm Buffie Dia. I'm 14 years old. I currently attend Gig Harbor High School, and I'm in strong support of naming the school Swiftwater Elementary after the original people of Gig Harbor, the Squabox people of the Puyallup tribe. I think that the decision would really help educate about Native culture and I feel like there's not enough representation in our town, and it would be a great step to normalizing Native culture and accepting our history, and that's why I'm here today.
Okay, thank you. Short and sweet.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Margarita Lees.
She thinks maybe we didn't have the right phone number for her.
That's correct. Not sure. That's correct.
Hello?
Hi, Margarita. It's David Olsen, School Board President. How are you this evening?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Thank you for calling.
Oh, thank you for joining us this evening. I want to let you know that you'll have 3 minutes to address the board. We do have a timer, and at the end of your 3 minutes, if you end up going past that, we'll let you know your time is finished. So we will start the timer when you begin your comments.
Okay, thank you. My name is Margarita Liz. I'm originally from Colombia. I'm a contractor for the school, for the Peninsula School District, and also I'm a member to the Equity and Community, Equity and Diversity Committee. I just want to express the honor that right now, in the position I am, to talk about the idea of this. I'm so nervous. I'm sorry. I want to spread my support for the name of Swiftwater, and I think it's the best choice. I don't see why not. When I was in a meeting at the Equity and Committee, I think more than a month ago, Jennifer was telling us about the history of Gig Harbor. And she mentioned something that I caught my attention, as what the natives gave to the new settlers at the building for them to teach the kids. And there, the first school in Gig Harbor was born. Right away, I thought, what amazing gift that we can give back to them, naming our school number 9 with a Native American. I know it's just for people, it's just a name, but right now, in this occasion, is more than just a name. It's changing lives. I was thinking our students who are Native Americans, someday driving by the school and seeing the name and recognizing that our community is important, that we value them and where we're coming from. And when they are driving someday, they can tell their kids the story behind the name. That's why I support the name of Sweetwater, the best choice for our school number 9. I'm sorry. I have an accent and I feel very nervous, but I hope you make the best decision. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Margarita, and we understood you perfectly. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Next up is Cortez Villa.
Hello?
Hi, is it Cortez?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
A little bit.
We're trying to get hold of Cortez Villa.
No, I think you got the wrong number.
Okay. I'm gonna try more. Huh?
It-
Can you check the last number called and just see if that's correct what we have down? Are you able to look at the previous call?
3590831.
Okay, so I must have the wrong number. Okay. All right. So next up, I guess, we had the wrong number for that person. Next up would be,
Is it part of the VIA family?
I think
it's part of the VA family. I think we probably was gonna be the same. Okay, so next
As far
up,
as I know, it is. It's a student.
Can we try the other number that we've reached them at twice?
Can we do that? Oh, can you call the mother back? That's
Sure.
okay.
fine.